Alright everyone, welcome back to the Pyramid. We have finally arrived to the last title in my Tom and Jerry Games marathon for this month, and you know what they say, always save the best for last. For today's entry, we'll be discussing the sequel to Fists of Furry, which was also the first Tom and Jerry game on multiple platforms and was also the first to receive a T rating by the ESRB. Even though this appeared on plenty of other systems with their own slight changes and tweaks to gameplay, I will mainly be focusing on the PS2 version that I actually own. So, without any more delay, let's jump straight into my personal favorite title in this franchise, Tom and Jerry War of the Whiskers. Just like its predecessor, Tom and Jerry War of the Whiskers is another arena fighter where the basic gist of gameplay is to beat the crap out of each other in a wide variety of stages. This version of the fighting game formula is greatly improved in many aspects, and if you actually got to play Fists of Furry, most of the mechanics will be very familiar to you. And the fact that this game was developed and published by the same studio helps too. I'd say this game does well to enhance the elements that were established before. This time we got more modes, more playable characters, more stages with interactive set pieces, and we even got costumes now too. Pretty cool. In terms of gameplay and control, it's around the same as before. You got basic punching and kicking, charge throws, grabbing special items and making use of their unique properties, and ducking down or blocking, the whole 9 yards, you know. But just like any good sequel, there are some new things here as well. Now you can taunt your opponent during the fight, and doing this will fill up your energy bar so you can rage out with my favorite new mechanic, Berserk Mode. Instead of having a power increase item, this game will allow you to supercharge yourself for a short while when your health is really low or when the yellow bar is filled all the way up. This definitely came in handy a few times when the battle was getting a little too hot to handle. Also, speaking of controls, the ability to infinitely jump in the air like the last game is gone, thank goodness. So now the computer has no choice but to actually stand and fight or just run away from you. Either is fine, I guess. Each character in this game has varying degrees of speed and strength depending on their difficulty level, and as you unlock them all, this becomes much more noticeable. I didn't quite realize it at first, but when you play as Nibbles or Tyke, my attacks were significantly weaker compared to someone like Butch or the Lion. So I guess you could say this game has a little bit more depth when it comes to the combat and made for plenty of interesting and close matches. Now, unfortunately, I will say that for the PS2 version that I'm playing, it only allows 2 characters to fight at once, just like Fists of Furry. However, if you play the GameCube or Xbox version, you can battle with up to 4 characters on screen to truly give off that Power Stone type of feel. I have no idea why it wasn't implemented in the PS2, but it should have been. Maybe it just wasn't working with the hardware they had, who even knows. Aside from that, at least the comedic flavor of this franchise is still prevalent here. It's still very satisfying to knock your opponent around and watch them trip over the many stage hazards / obstacles and have them react in the way that you'd normally expect. It always made me chuckle to see them get smushed flat at the junkyard, frozen by the fridge in the kitchen, pulled into a tornado, chased by bees, bitten by sharks, turned into a snowman, or even burned by a freaking dragon. You just can't have Tom and Jerry without slapstick shenanigans. It's like eating macaroni without the cheese. I personally think this title illustrates the animations very decently for a 2003 game. I'd even say the soundtrack is bigger and more bombastic as well, which is nice to hear. Pretty much everything about War of the Whiskers is greatly enhanced from Fist of Furry, making it a very worthy sequel in my eyes. Now, keep in mind, it is not the best fighting game I've ever played, but as far as Tom and Jerry games go, this is without a doubt my favorite of them all. It's just a real shame that this was one of the last official games in the franchise to have released in well over a decade. You would think that the most beloved duo in Warner Bros. Would have a little bit more media attention. Aside from that piece of crap movie from 2021, the last relevant thing Tom and Jerry has done was feature in Multiverses, but that's about it. I can only hope for better things in the future, but only time will tell. So, with everything all wrapped up, this will conclude my Tom and Jerry Games Marathon. I really hope y'all enjoyed it, and let me know if you want to see more series like this at some point. All of my current playthroughs for these games will be linked in the description and easily available on the playlist homepage. After this video, I will take another short break from making edited content, and when I return around April or May, I will start talking about the Looney Tunes games that I've played recently. Thank you all so very much for tuning in to Anubis Black Games. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again next time. Alright, bye-bye.